Welcome back to What She Said Sports. I could name this episode What the Helly. To the family of Draylon Miller, who plays for the Colorado Buffs, there was an interview and his sister said that, and I never forgot it. And today I was doing some research. So his family might want to go and trademark What the Helly, because I could get a mug, a t-shirt, and keep using it. Doing research today. Must be the money. About the NFL contracts. I finally got my hands on the language that players, the 32 players, are holding out about. One fourth rounder, one first rounder, Shamar Stewart, and 30 second rounders. So we're going to review that. And we're going to talk about the prime tax. Is it prime tax or prime equity? Prime equity, something y'all emailed me about from another podcaster named Money Main, who came up with this concept. And I have two comments from people who emailed me about it, and I responded and we discussed it. So we're going to share their comments about prime equity. And we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and potentially the millions he made off of the sale of his number 12 jersey for the Cleveland Browns. So we're talking about Shedeur and making money, getting the bag in a way that we didn't anticipate. Look at God. We're talking about prime equity by Money Main, what was proposed, what people think about it. And we're talking about NFL versus NIL. Is it better to stay in school? I have a quote from a former college quarterback who was in the NFL, and he weighed in on what he thought. So I want to share that as well. So get you some snacks. You have time to get you some snacks. I didn't start with a long intro. That just gives us time to just talk a little bit and give people time to get their snacks together, get you a beverage of your choice, because we're going to be in here. What the helly? That's what we're talking about today. This contract, the language that's in these contracts has me asking what Draylon Miller's sister said. What the helly? I think we're finally getting to the part that I like, the part that these players are finally starting to realize that the NFL is not the end all to be all. Not anymore. It probably never was, but for a lot of people, yes. But at what cost? What did it cost you? So that's what we're talking about today. Get some snacks, get your favorite beverage, and we're going to get in here. What the helly? All right, let's see who's in here, and we're going to get going. Hey, Tina, how you doing? I never forget, she got a crown today. Gracie, how you doing? I'm back. Welcome, 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 Charlotte. Welcome, Miss Pamela Crowley. Jerry, hey, how you doing? Thank you for the emails. Thank you so much. And Charlotte says Shedeur and who's this? Shedeur and God told Shedeur said God told me to do it, referring to helping the community. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I mean that young man, there is no holding him back. Angel Reese's current year, her second year, she's winning despite the negativity, despite the harassment, despite the WNBA's own WNBA, her own league bias towards her. Year one, she's winning despite that. Angel Reese's year two will likely show us what Shedeur Sanders year two will look like. Now, one of the things that we're talking about with Shedeur Sanders is the bag. So we know this young man got robbed of $40 million. People were saying that's okay because he had made double-digit millions before the draft on his endorsements, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but he still need to get his money. Well, I think he might have got some of it. If you look at the money that players get from their jersey sales. Now, because it's private information, there's no exact percentage that you can count on, but you can count on by process of elimination, starting to figure some things out, right? So the NFL has called revenue sharing, right? When the jerseys are sold, the NFL Players Association, the teams get a chunk of it, right? I heard like maybe 2/3 of it. So we're talking Shedeur Sanders alone, his jersey. The revenue from that will be split up amongst 32 teams. So that's $250 million by 32 teams. Mind you, there's a lot of players who jerseys sold. He just sold the highest. So take that 250 divided amongst 32 teams, drop the number in the chat, let me know what you got. Then there's still about $83 million out there. Who does that go to? The manufacturer. It only takes a few dollars to make the jerseys. It's documented that Nike paid double digit or almost like billions just to license the NFL jersey because the sales are so lucrative. And of course, they mark it up, right? 2, 3 times, 4 times, maybe 5 times, just so they can keep as much money as possible, then having to pay the manufacturer. Then you got to pay the NFL licensing fees. But players get a cut of that, right? Players get a cut of the jerseys, and Shedeur Sanders is going to get the biggest cut. Now, one podcast, I think it's one podcast. Let me get the name right. I want to give credit where credit is due. Basically said they believe that Shedeur Sanders is making or will continue to make between 12 to 15 million dollars just off the sale of the number 12 jersey. Now imagine if they had given him the number 2. Now, knowing that, I said, now see, I didn't even know that. So basically, if he getting that kind of money, now I don't know how true it is. I don't know where they get their numbers from, but that led me to go do my own research and look at the 250 and see how it's split up. And it is documented that players get a percentage. I just don't know what percent, right? So the 12 to 15% could be 12 to 15 million could be realistic. It very well could be. And if so, I don't think they anticipated Shedeur Sanders would sell those kind of numbers. $250 million for one person's jersey, and you talking about the top 10 all have jerseys, right? So if he gets that, that is equal to the same or more than his first year salary would have been. Now, if he does this every year in the NFL on a $4 million contract, 12 times 4 is 48. He gonna make more money than he would have made with his contract. Excuse me. He would have made $48 million in 4 years just off his jersey. And Shedeur has that kind of staying power. And that's where the whole prime equity coming at. That ties into that. So I think it's perfect. But $12 million if at the low end, $15 million at the high end, and the season haven't even started yet. He haven't even touched the ball. Imagine if it was his number 2. Imagine if he was named QB1. Imagine if he was the franchise QB. It would probably be somewhere between $300 and $350 million. No cap. The question is, if he can sustain those types of numbers year over year, if they let him play, he ball out. Hell, I don't think they would ever give him back his number 2 at this point, because they're like, no, we got it going good. But then again, they could be like, let's run it back. That's $500 million. If he switched from the 12 to the 2 and make just as much money with the 2, that's $500 million. What did I say today when I posted a short? We were laughing and talking about how the NFL seems to be, Cleveland is trying to break up Shedeur and Deshaun Watson by keeping Deshaun Watson inside. He can't come outside, right? He got to stay inside the field house. And I said that's because the NFL don't want Deshaun Watson to teach Shedeur how to get $500 million from the NFL. Now, knowing that this jersey by itself has generated $250 million to be divided up, 2/3 of it to go to 32 teams, another third to the manufacturer, that's $83 million. And then some more of it, you take that 2/3 and you're going to divide it up, you're going to give it to different people. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Gracie said that is how much is that? How much is that per team? 7.85. Lord have mercy. Over $250 million. So that's how it goes. That's how it's going to go. So he's benefiting other teams. He's not even on it. He's benefiting other teams, and he's not even a starting quarterback. He's benefiting the entire league, and they treating him like that. You see, that's why Canada had Shedeur first rights to negotiation, because they can count. They're not crazy. They're like, if y'all don't want it, we'll take him, because he gonna sell out their jersey. Come on. Like, the fact that this young man can generate all this money, and you want to keep devaluing him. You want to keep putting it out there in the public airspace that he's not valuable to the team. He's just not that good. Let him go and let's see what happens. Shedeur Sanders can go to another team next year because they did it with Geno Smith year after year after year. He was on 3 different teams in 3 different years. That means he had 3 different jerseys. They could do the same thing. And even if it don't generate $250 million, it's going to generate some money. But that Shedeur Sanders fan base is so locked in, it could generate $250 again with a different team. If he goes to the Jaguars, I might get that 12. But since Travis got it, he probably got to get the 2. I'm getting the 2. I'm getting the 2. I'm getting the 2. If he go to Buffalo, I want the 2. I want the 2. So, this young man is doing a service to the people who are constantly kicking him down. I'm going to remind you, God don't leave his people where they are not appreciated. You heard what Charlotte said, that Shedeur said God told him to do it to help out the community, right? He told us himself out of his own mouth before the draft, he is a child of God. He also told us they're trying to play God. So they tried to lock him out of the draft, and God kicked that door open. That's exactly what happened. And now they try to take away his money, and his jersey has generated, if he really gets the 12 to 15 million, if that's the correct number, that's more than his first year salary would be. And maybe by next year, this situation will be worked out. Because from what I understand, if he gets cut, he clears waivers. After the 24 hours, the waiver period is over. Jacksonville, Buffalo, anybody can pick him up and give him the rightful contract. And that $4 million contract would have been done away. And whoever picks him up is likely going to give him a 3-year contract. So that means he's still on schedule or more for what he would have gotten paid in 4 years. See, only God can do that. Only God can keep you where you're supposed to be when people keep knocking you down. That's what I see with him. You try to lock him out the draft, you could not. You robbed his pockets, he getting it back through you because you owe him money for revenue sharing for his jersey. They probably not even happy about that, but there's nothing they could do. That's why they still acting like, okay, we making money on you, but we still don't want you. That's so wicked. That's wicked and it's ignorant. That's why I don't want him in Cleveland. Any team would be happy to have him. The NFL itself should be happy to have him. So that's Shedeur getting to the bag. And only a way God can make it happen, after people try to hold you down, you keep rising. I see the same thing happening with Shedeur in year 2 that I see happening with Angel Reese in year 2. So I hope they still friends because they can hold each other down. So that's where we are with that, right? Everybody getting paid off for Shedeur, and he's still getting his money despite that. So let's talk about NIL. We talked earlier today. Somebody put in the comments that when Travis went fishing with Coach Prime, that Coach Prime told him, you could go back to CU 1 more year and play for me. That's a reality. And guess what? It would have benefited him. Right now, the highest NIL valuation is $6 million. 6. You know who it belongs to, right? But the other players aren't far behind. They're in the 4s. How much, drop it in the chat, how much do you think Travis's NIL valuation would have been had he gone back to CU for 1 more year? Drop it in the chat. So now you see what the NFL was thinking when they saw Travis fishing with Coach Prime. Let's go ahead on and sign him, even though it's the weekend. Get your ass up and get that contract done before Prime signing back to CU. Because Coach Prime has that kind of influence, the Prime effect. So let's talk about Prime equity, right? So with Prime equity, we have a concept that was put together by a young man, Money Man is his podcast. And he was talking about how all the intangibles should be included. What you bring to the table, your fan base, etc. You already have the jersey sales are in there. But, calling it Prime equity, you get equity for the things that you bring to the table outside of the game of football, outside of your skill set. I like it. I like it because now that you have players coming into the league with NIL, more and more, they're coming with their fan bases. See, before all of the players were not intentionally sold to you. It might have been one or two on the team. But see, now that they have these brand deals and these schools are paying this money, they're going to want to recoup some of this money. So I'm going to go ahead on and get these brand deals like Zaxby's, Subway. We talked about Shiloh could have a number of things. You bring all of that. You bring eyeballs to the table. You bring in fans. So Shedeur having something like prime equity in his nice contract would also give him back the money that he didn't make. Again, that is the reason I say they do not want Shedeur hanging out with Deshaun Watson. They have something in common, and I think y'all know what it is. They both were done wrong, but one of them got compensated with a fully guaranteed contract. So if Shedeur can negotiate something like prime equity, he can also look at, I made $500 million in jersey sales, right? So I want a fully guaranteed contract for $500 million. I bring how many fans to the table? 3 million, more than your stadiums can hold. You need 10 more NFL stadiums in addition to the 32 that you have. So Gracie was telling me what she thought about it. I'm going to share it with y'all on the screen. This is talking about, actually this might be Salafi, I think. I have Gracie and Salafi. So I think this is Salafi's comment. I asked him, he was telling me about the prime tax. I was asking what he thought about it. And he was just, telling me, I put it on the screen. I hope y'all can see it, what it actually says. All right. It says, I think it offers the players the chief asset, the players. I think it offers the players who are the chief asset the leverage to exercise flexibility in negotiating and obtaining the best contract for their future. The better player you are, the chances of earning higher salaries are increased. Bonuses become lucrative, and then you're afforded to play postseason. It says, i.e., the playoffs, the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, etc. Through smart investments, one can build generational wealth, leave a legacy behind in history by always having residual income. It says, okay, so all by having residual income. So that's what Salafi said. I like it. So what it's doing is it's setting up the players for something other than these non-guaranteed contracts, because this prime equity is a much better way to do business than these non-guaranteed, one-sided, damn near possibly predatory contracts. Again, I have language to share what some of these contracts are saying, why these people, I see why they're holding out. It's paragraphs long of language. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. So prime equity is something I believe is beneficial. Let me know if y'all think the NFL should adopt the prime equity concept. All right, so this is what Gracie said. Okay, so Gracie said, hold on one second. Now, this was Gracie's comment. She said, I would love to see the concept adopted by the NFL. It would allow the players to be compensated for not only their brand, but also the added amount of possible revenue to their respective organizations because of new fans that they bring to the followers. Now, one person you can think of right off the top of your head, really two, Travis and Shedeur. At some point, they share the same fans, right? We know Shedeur has 3 million fans from CU. Travis has probably 3 million fans between CU and the NFL. And he probably has more, because Jacksonville is truly embracing, truly embracing Travis. So more people get to see him. Now, Shedeur, you can't hold him down. You can't hold him down. Now, you put them two on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You put Travis and Shedeur on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you have a prime equity contract in place. They set for life. They are set for life. So I like the concept. Whether or not the NFL will adopt it or not, I haven't seen the NFL do anything that is beneficial to the players. And the only time they're going to do something beneficial to the players, when the players start staying in school, when the talent pool starts staying at school, and then other players realize, I could stay in school, get this money, get this degree, hell, go to law school, medical school, start my own business, invest in a business, invest in accrued or something. When players get to the point, and I think we're at the cusp of it, when players get to the point that they not signing up for the NFL draft like they not signing up for the NBA draft, then the NFL will respect the players. But we got to get there first. And in my opinion, there's already been enough to get there. But see, some people think what happened to Shedeur is only about Shedeur. But if they knew the NFL history, not of just toward black quarterbacks, because you're going to have some people to go, well, that's what they do to quarterbacks. I'm a wide receiver. Well, I suggest you go learn your history and look at the 2021 lawsuit that the NFL settled. That's NFL maintained race norming, right? That black NFL players, period, all of them have lower cognitive functioning. You're not as intelligent as white people. That's what it said. This 2021. So this wasn't just about Shedeur. So when they get to the point where they sick of this, where they sick of the one-sided contracts, where they see that I'm coming out of college and they treat me with respect, but then when I get to the NFL, I don't get that respect. They want me to leave it all at the door. I got to run my endorsements through them. Travis can have his endorsements and his signing bonus up front, but we got to fight for everything. That's creating a system of favoritism. And then when you want the white players that are quarterbacks to have something that you don't want the black players to have, that's Jim Crow. You're creating a system of disparity. When they get tired of having to sell their souls for non-guaranteed money, then the NFL will begin to respect them. They're not going to respect it because they keep lining up for it. This year's class, I respect them. I commend them. A fourth-round player holding out. A fourth-round player, a linebacker from Notre Dame. Maybe he feel like he could do better somewhere else. Quinn Ewers, look how they did him. Number 13th quarterback taken in the draft. Now that was dirty. That was dirty. But nobody ever said he was a first-round QB. So what they did to Shedeur was evil. I mean, feeding black babies to alligators, evil. Scalping black people and using their hair for cushions in their sofas, evil. The Goon Squad, evil. So when they get tired of it and they all stand together, like I see this rookie class trying to do, and yes, certain people are giving in as we get closer and closer, but not that second round. Still 30 out of 32. But shout out to the linebacker in the fourth round. I mean, it takes courage, like Shedeur Stewart said. So let's take a look at some of the things that they are asking the players to put up with in these contracts, right? Let's just kind of take a look. Maybe we could take a look first and see who it is. Oh, no, that's something else. Okay, hold on. So let me get back to my file. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at this language. I've been waiting on this. I've been wanting to see what the hell are they holding out for. This gotta be serious. This is the first time they say this has ever happened. That means it's serious. And I respect them because one of the critiques, the criticisms that people have of the NFL is the players don't stand up for themselves. So this class is standing up for themselves. All right, I got one more to get. All right. Okay, I think, yep, this is it right here. Okay, I hope this is it. Let's see here. All right. This is the beginning of the language of what it was explaining. It was talking about the guarantees. Nope, that's the end of it. Hold on. You see how long it is? There's more to it than that. That's just one part of it. I think it's like I might have 3 different sections. Look at all of this. This is the insanity. Hold on, I got one more to share. Yep, this is what I'm talking about. This is the insanity. This is insanity to have all of these clauses in a contract so you don't have to guarantee people's money. Like just stop drafting the people and let them go start their own league. Let them go find something else. Like it's just insanity. What they say, stop it. That's why I said, what the hell? Y'all gonna see me with a t-shirt. If they haven't trademarked that in the Miller family, please go do it and sell it. Cause what the hell? That's the first thing that came to my mind. What the hell? What kind of language is this, right? So hopefully, let's see, this is it. I have a lot of it. Hold on one second. All right, let's see. Let's see. Is this the top of it? Hold on. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right. Disputes over this type of language. Now, mind you, let me just context just in case you're joining us, okay? Um, there are 32 players holding out in the NFL. Shedeur Stewart is the only Cincinnati Bengal and the only first rounder still holding out. Jahdae Barron came to agreements with the Denver Broncos. Then there are 30 people in the second round out of 32 holding out for guaranteed contracts. Then there is a linebacker from Notre Dame in the fourth round. All right. Shedeur Stewart said it, and I think he might speak for everybody. I don't know. I would hate to come all of this way and for it not to work out. These guys been playing football their entire lives, but Shedeur Stewart didn't show up, and it seems like he's willing to walk away if the NFL does not show some respect. So let's listen to the language. It said, despite over this type of language with disputes over this type of language with rookie contracts are rare. The last one occurred in 2018 with a linebacker, Roquan Smith. Somebody check and see if Roquan Smith is still in the NFL. The 8th overall pick. He missed the first 2 weeks of training camp because he and his agents objected to language where the Chicago Bears had the right to void guarantees for an ejection or suspension from a game. So if you get ejected or suspended from a game, they want to void your guarantees. If you are ejected or suspended from a game for violating NFL playing rules. So remember when Jimmy Horn Jr. was running up the field and taunting was called on him? Let's just say if that would have got him ejected, it would have voided his contract if he was in the NFL. That's just the best example I could think of. It said a compromise was reached with the number of games in a suspension necessary to trigger voiding. So in other words, the workaround was, oh no, you're not gonna just put a blanket void that if I get an ejection or suspension without saying the number of games, say for one game, the way you read this from a game, it could mean one game. Then you lose your guarantees. That's insane. That's insane. Just say you don't want to give them guaranteed contracts. So that triggered a holdout in 2018. So now it's 2025. It said contract guarantees typically void for an exhaustive list of defaults. Exhaustive, there's a list of defaults. Default is there's no stipulation as to how many games you could be ejected or suspended from. Now, there are a lot of people who are not problematic. So they came up with a compromise was reached on the number of games in a suspension necessary to trigger voiding. Yeah, you need a lawyer for this because some people would just sign this and go on and find out the hard way. No, you don't get your guarantee, right? So here we go right here. It says contract typically void for an exhaustive list of defaults by a player. The default language in Mims' contract that controls the voiding of his guarantees read as follows. And they supposedly all have the same language, but that's starting to seem like it's not true. Or either they have the same language and the NFL is selectively granting the guarantees, like in Travis's case. Shedeur Stewart is in the first round, just like Travis. But Travis had to go fishing first, and then he got his contract signed after he was seen, went viral with Coach Prime, who they said told him, you could come back to see you and play for me, which is a reality. And the NFL didn't want to lose him. So if you didn't want to lose Travis, why you didn't value him up front? Why did he have to ask for it? Because they want to see if you're going to ask for it. So there are people out here who signed that, and Travis didn't, and he didn't give in, and he got what he felt he wanted. Let's see how his season go. Did anybody find out if Roquan Smith is still in the NFL? Because I do believe they are retaliatory. So it would just be interesting to see how this goes. Suddenly, you hear a lot of negativity about Travis playing both sides of the ball after he signed his contract. But before he had signed it, oh, yeah, he going to play on both sides of the ball. He going to be good. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see. It said in the event, this is the language, in the event player fails or refuses to report to club, fails or refuses to practice or play with the club, other than for an NFL-related injury sustained while performing his services under this contract, but specifically including but not limited to failure to perform due to incarceration. We just know a couple of people who went to jail. Failure to perform due to being incarcerated unless such incarceration is less than 72 hours. So that's why when an NFL player goes to jail, they get out within a day or two. And player does not miss a game. So you can't go to jail and be in jail for a week and miss a game. It says death. Now, why would my guarantees be void if I die? If the person is dead, that goes without saying. So what they're saying is their family doesn't get their money. If you die and you play for the NFL, this appears, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, if you die, you don't get the money. That's what it's saying. It says injury occurred as a result of engaging in a non-football related injury. If you fall off a motorcycle or boat and you get injured, your guarantee is voided. So they're not going to pay you. Oh, well, I mean, I feel like if I'm a salaried employee in corporate America and I go boating and I break my wrist, well, skating, because I'm a skater, and break my wrist, they not going to deduct nothing from my salary. I'm just going to use my sick days and all of my vacation time to heal. They not going to deduct my salary. They not going to mess with my bonus, right? If my bonus, I don't get it, there's no numbers to count if I'm not there. But if I'm there, I'm still going to get my money. If I can work, I'm still going to get my money. So in the NFL, if you die, your family's not getting this money. Injury occurred as a result of engaging in non-football related injury, falling off a motorcycle or boat, okay? Or if a player leaves the club without its consent. Now, what does that mean? Or if the player leaves the club, does that mean the clubhouse without its consent? Or if a player retires? So if you retire, you don't get the money. In fact, you probably got to give some money back. That makes sense, right? Or if a player is suspended by the NFL or club for conduct detrimental other than a suspension of no more than 3 games. So let's talk about Quinshon Judkins, right? He signed his contract. They talking about suspending him, but he didn't sign his contract. But he's holding out in the second round like the other 30 or the other 29. So because he went to jail, but he wasn't there for a week. He don't have no contract, so I don't even think it should count. But they could kind of say, well, we're not going to give you a guaranteed contract because we need to suspend you for 4 games. His suspension would be for 4 games. And then they could say, well, you see right here, we're not going to give you the guaranteed contract because we got to suspend you for 3 games. But see, he don't have a contract. The fact that he don't have a contract, you can't really use this against him because you can't take retroactive information, language, and apply it to a situation that's a negative because he don't have a contract. So him not actually having a contract could possibly work in his favor because this situation happened before he signed his contract. Now they could be slick and give him a 4-game suspension, and that way he don't get his guarantee. So what happens with Quinshon Judkins will be very interesting, and we might need to come back and look at this language. All right, so that's that. Now we're gonna move on to another one. Let me remove this one. I think this is the second part. Yeah, this is the second part. All right, here we go. Now all of this is the same language running through the same contract. The contract was only supposed to be 25 pages, I thought I read, but I could be wrong. If somebody know different, let me know. So we're continuing on. We just left the part about getting suspended for more than 3 games, could void your contract conduct detrimental to the team. Quinshon Judkins, put a pin in that. Let's see if that applies. In the event player fails or refuse to report to club. So if you a holdout and you don't report to the club, they can void your guarantees. So let's say next year, right? Rookie minicamp has not rookie minicamp, but training camp, mandatory camp. You know how they had that mandatory camp? Let's say it's mandatory and you don't show up. In the event player fails or refuses to report to club, that seems like you can void your guarantee. So everybody got to show up. Fails or refuses to practice. So if you don't want to practice because something happening, they're going to void your guarantees, or play with the club other than for any other than for any NFL related injury while performing his services under his contract, but specifically including, but not limited to failure to perform due to incarceration. Okay, I think I read that part already. Okay, that's the same thing. That's got to be the same thing. Conduct detrimental to the team. Okay, we're gonna keep going. More than 3 games for violating the NFL playing rules. Okay, it said, or if a player is suspended for violating the NFL personal conduct policy. Again, Quinshon Judkins could be in jeopardy, but he had signed his contract. Let me know in the comments. Since Quinshon Judkins has not signed his contract, therefore he is technically not an employee, should they be able to use this language against him? Let me know to avoid, to prevent giving him a guaranteed contract that he is now holding out for, along with the other 29 players. Let me know in the comments and let me know what you're talking about if you say yes or no. It should not apply to Quinshon Judkins or KQJ. Let me know. All right, because I'm telling you, this is interesting. This is interesting. All right. Ooh, okay. We already talked about death, injury, no more than 3 games for violating player rules. If player is suspended for violating the NFL personal conduct policy, if a player is suspended for violating the NFL policy or performance enhancing substances. So if you get caught with something in your system, performance enhancing substances, which is steroids, you void your contracts. Or if a player is suspended for violating the NFL policy and program for SA abuse. Is weed still on the list? Is weed still a substance that is prohibited by the NFL? Because if so, if you fail a test and marijuana is in your system and it's not allowed, then you're going to lose your guarantees. Or the NFL gambling policy. I wonder what that is. Or if a player makes any public comment. Oh, wait, what? What? Hold up now. Wait. If a player makes any public comment, including but not limited to the newspaper, magazine, television, radio, social media, or internet, that breaches players' obligation of loyalty to a club and or undermines the public's respect for the club, the coaches, the management. So they can't say nothing. They can't say anything negative, no matter how they feel. They are forced to meet with the media. You can't say nothing negative. I'm just here so I won't get fined. That's what you're going to have to say. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Now it needs to change to, I'm just here so my contract won't, my guarantees won't be voided. You see that? Now that's restricted. That's essentially putting something over your mouth and you can say nothing. Now the gambling policy. Now I know in the NBA, a player just got caught gambling. I don't know what the NFL's gambling policy is. I might look it up. If somebody want to find the language and tell me what it says, drop it in, cut and paste and put it in the chat. We could look at it then. But it's this part right here. If a player makes any public comment, including but not limited to the newspaper. So you can't have freedom of speech, magazine. You can't be honest about how you feel, television, radio, social media. So you can't even make a post. So like if you have a post and people know you play for, you need a burner account. You're going to have a burner account because you can say nothing. They are micromanaging their brand for sure. And that's how restricted they are, right? You can't say nothing about something that would be an obligation of loyalty. An obligation of loyalty. So if you work for people and you're unhappy, you can't say nothing about the way things are going to the club and or undermines the public's respect for the club. Okay. If the public don't respect the club, it ain't because the player said something. I mean, come on now. So basically, they have no speech. They have no freedom of speech. Or you do, but you're going to lose your guarantees. Why is that tied to guarantees? Why is that even prohibited? Right? Club coaches or club management. Now let's think about what the owner of the Cleveland Browns said about what's his name, Deshaun Watson publicly. We took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson, and they use that to hold back Shedeur. So let's flip it. Let's say if Deshaun had said, well, I took a chance on coming to Cleveland, but it was a big swing and miss because they didn't really do well. They have a revolving door for quarterbacks. I wasn't gonna never make it here. If he say that, he can lose his guarantees. But if the owner throws a player under the bus, oh, that's allowed. And it's definitely allowed when it's using holding back another black quarterback. Okay. You see how that's what I mean by these contracts are one-sided. It's almost like they got to strip down naked to their skin to and give up any freedom of speech or any type of accountability by the NFL. So the coaches, the GMs, look how disgusted Cleveland looked when they drafted Shedeur. But if Shedeur would have looked like that, if he was to post a picture with himself looking like that after draft day, would they say he wasn't being loyal to the club? Would they try to use this clause here that says something about the player's obligation of loyalty was violated, so you lose your guarantees? Let me know y'all's thoughts. I don't like that. It said player shall be in default of his guarantee, or if player otherwise materially breaches any provision of this contract, then player shall be in default. If player is in default, this guarantee shall immediately be deemed null and void from the beginning. Ooh, that means they're going to go back and take your money. Null and void from the beginning and in its entirety, regardless of whether or not the guarantee had otherwise been earned according to its terms at the time of the player's default. In the event, this too much. In the event of such default, player will be entitled to earn the remaining paragraph 5 salary. So see, they have all kind of bonuses. They have workout bonuses, this kind of bonus. So here's what they're saying. Okay, so let's talk about Travis for a minute, right? Travis wanted his signing bonus up front. Now, getting your signing bonus up front can be a little tricky with the NFL because Michael Vick earned his signing bonus. He was drafted in 2001. You would think by the time he got to 2005 or 6 or 7 when the incident happened and he was incarcerated, you would think that was 5, 6, or 7 years old, right? The time had passed. You know, they went back and got that money. What does this part say right here at the bottom? It says you will not, it said in its entirety. It said if a player is in default, this guarantee shall be immediately be deemed null and void from the beginning. Now y'all see why they don't care if they get arrested. Now y'all know why they don't care if these 9 quarterbacks get arrested. So when it comes to pink substance, Stephon Diggs, did they even bother to investigate? Did they take back his guarantee? Or did they look the other way so they don't have to take his guarantee? Interesting, right? According to this contract, and the language probably was still around because they said 2018 was the first year anybody complained about it. So this language was around. So they basically saying it will be null and void from the beginning and in its entirety, regardless of whether or not the guarantee had otherwise been earned. They don't care whether you earned it or not. You ain't getting it. If you already got it, you're going to get it back, or I'm going to deduct it out of your future salary. You could be working for them for free. Now y'all know why they don't care that these 9 black quarterback players that I told y'all are bodies. You see how they treat it. Now you know why they don't care, because they get to keep their money. The guys end up playing with no guarantees, so I can yank your chain anytime I want to. You can't even sneeze wrong. So that's that one. So are we all on the same page? This got to be the most offensive part that I've read. All right, so let's go over to, I think this might be the last one. Let's see. I think I think this is the last one. It said the second day in any other subsequent comment, player shall be in default of this guarantee, or if the player otherwise materially breaches any provision of this contract, the player shall be in default. If the player is in default, this guarantee shall be deemed null and void from the beginning and in its entirety, regardless of whether or not the guarantee had otherwise been earned. Meaning, even if you earned it, I'm taking it back. And if you didn't, I'm not giving it to you according to its terms at the time of the player's default. Woo! And on page 5, on the salaries, they have a list of what's what. I don't really care about that. It said this language appears with each salary component that is guaranteed in contracts. This language appears with any salary component, bonus working out, signing bonus, salary bonus, any other kind of injury bonus, all of that. So why were they so beating up on Russell Wilson to get rid of his injury clause? Because it was guaranteed. Why didn't it just stick to the injury? Why did they even have to do that? Because if he chose not to play, wouldn't that void his guarantees? So why did they feel the need to outwardly and publicly abuse him? They didn't even have to. Not if he had this kind of language, or maybe he didn't have it. I wonder how many people they take these pages out for. I wonder how many people they remove this language for. So it says this language appears with each salary component that is guaranteed in contracts, period. But for everybody, it says in Stewart's case, that would be with his 2025 through 2028 base salaries, as well as his 2026. Is that 26 or 25? Oh, okay. 2026 through 2028 third day of training camp roster bonus for a total of 7 different occasions. Obviously, training camp roster bonus is referenced in the default language instead of paragraph 5 salary when applicable. Well, there you go. I've been waiting on this language, and here it is. What do y'all think? Because hell to the now. Hell to the now. These guys, one, are working for free. Okay, let's be clear. They don't even get paid to the first game check, but they want you to sign this and not pay you until the first game check. So when do you start looking at my conduct? Again, Quinshawn Junkins. Are they going to use this language, give him a suspension, and then use it to take away his guarantees? That's one, right? Travis's situation. They said that they could take this money back if if you voided or you not in compliance, basically. If you're not in compliance, they can take this back, whether you earned it or not. So that means the signing bonus that Travis fought for to have paid all at once. If anything happens, he gonna have to remember that before he turned the age of 25 and his frontal lobe is not fully developed, because he will lose every dime of what they already gave him. This gonna be interesting to see how this go, because now that you're starting to hear, them be negative about him and he not doing this. Let's say they decide, you know what? We're not going to let you play both ways. You going to get mad? You see that they got them over. It's crazy. Until these guys learn to stay in school. If the language is on the internet, you can read it and decide for yourself. Is it worth it to stay in school, right? So let's look at some of these NIL valuations, right? Now that you've read this language, now you're looking at how much the players are making in college, right? You tell me if they need to come on out. Now, we're talking about most of these guys are first rounders. Travis is making somewhere between 11 and 12 million a year as the number 2 pick. He got his signing bonus up front about 31 million, meaning get paid all at one time instead of phased out over the years. So what that means is, instead of him getting what he was going to get for 4 years, he's going to get the bulk of it in year one and probably year two, unless they're gonna cut him a check for $31 million in year one. But you just read the clause. You just read how restrictive it is. You just read that they can void it, even if you got it already. They could take it back and make you pay it. So if I'm in college and I'm Arch Manning, $6.8 million a year, maybe that's why he like, hell nah, I ain't finna come out. And I heard some people say he don't get NIL, but who wants to be bothered with that? Who wants to be bothered with that? Then you have Carson Beck, Miami. He making $4 million for 1 year. Now, when Quinn Ewers was at UT, he was offered about the same $6 million that Arch Manning is getting to transfer to another school and play college ball for 1 year. Instead, he went to the draft. They picked him the 13th quarterback in the draft, dead last. His contract is probably around $4 million. So he lost about $2 million. Carson Beck did the right thing. He went to Miami for $4 million, 1 year. So it don't matter if he go first round or second round because he got $4 million in the bank. So if he get drafted first pick of the second round, he gonna make about $11 million. Carson Beck made the right decision. Jeremiah Smith is a wide receiver. Currently, he makes $4.2 million. I call him Lambo Primetime JJ. I think he gonna stay at Ohio State until it's over with. Until he can't make no more money. Because if he making $4 million over 2 years, and then another 2 years, that means he will have $8 million before he leave and go to the league. And if he the first pick in the draft, second pick, he's somewhere by the time he come out, $50 million divided into 4 plus all of these stipulations. But at least I already have $8 million. I don't have to be dealing with this foolishness. I can come in and be like, fine, right? And then you have AJ. Is that AJ? That's a basketball player. Okay, never mind. That's basketball. And then we have Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. Oh, that's the quarterback y'all were talking about, supposed to be going to the Saints. He makes $3.7 million. You don't think his family gonna tell him to stay there unless they know for a fact that he can get a first round guaranteed contract? Of course they are, but then look at the guarantees, right? Look at the language. I wonder if his contract gonna have it in there. And then you have Lenore Sellers. Father said he was offered his son $8 million to stay in school for 2 years and transfer somewhere else. He's making $3.7 million. His dad say he didn't need the money. He's supposed to be a top 5 pick, which means one, he will have a guaranteed contract with all the same language in it. You got to be on your P's and Q's for the next 4 to 8 years. And people like to say, oh, no, he a good person. Nothing going to happen. Okay. Quashawn Junkins is 21, right? And as far as I know, he don't have a history of any behavior like this. And he probably didn't expect this to happen. And he gonna have to learn and grow from this, because what did we say about Tyreek here earlier? Y'all say he still didn't get the money he wanted. I asked you, what? Are they holding it against him because of what happened with his cases in Kansas City? There was domestic violence. It could have been eventually dropped, but could they be holding it back from that? Right? So y'all tell me, if after reading that language, most of these guys that play football are first rounders, their contracts are guaranteed, but you read the language, what would you do? Would you go ahead, stay in school, max out on your NIL, meaning 4 million, 8 million, and then go into league with 8 million? That's what I would do. I would stay in school as long as possible before I come out, because if that's just the language in your contract, I can't imagine what the environment is like in the NFL. And I told y'all, the NFL has lawsuits of workplace misconduct from people who are not football players. I told y'all that's out there. So I think I stay in college, max out on NIL, stay where they respect me, rather than going to the NFL unless it's really time. Like I'm gonna stay in school as long as I can, because you don't have all of this language. You don't have all of this language. So what do y'all think about that? And this is what Johnny Manziel said. Johnny Manziel believes the NFL would have been a pay cut for him if he had NIL at Texas A&M. In other words, people are now having the conversation that needs to be had. Is it worth it to leave school early to go to the NFL? And you have to look at the language in those contracts. So y'all let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, because I probably will move different. I think I see why Jalen Hurts stay quiet. I think I see why he stay quiet, stay to himself. That's why now you know why Russell Wilson didn't respond to his coach. Now you know why Jalen Hurts didn't respond to his coach, right? But I still don't understand why the coaches are allowed and the owners are allowed to throw the players under the bus, but the players can say nothing. The coach, Sean Payton, was allowed to be respectful and humiliating Russell Wilson. Look at how they treated Shedeur in the draft. Look at how they treated him when they first got to Cleveland. They know these guys, they got them over a barrel, and it's not guaranteed. So I'm checking the comments to see what y'all say. See what y'all are saying. Shedeur said, God told me to do it about helping in the community. Yes, I like that. Salafi said, I'm here. It says, shout out to everybody. A female announcer at Alabama. Is that A&M? Yeah, I think I saw that, right? Alabama A&M. That was awesome. It said Money Man came up with the prime equity. Yes, he did. And I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a really good job. Let's see if the NFL decides to do business in a more fairer way. It said, I think them giving him 2 back would sell more than 12 did. I think so too, Gracie, because I'm going to get a 2. That's what I'm waiting on. And remember, Cleveland said the jersey number can change. So they might have already had this plan. Jerry wants Shedeur. What happened? It said the kids had on his Nike shirts today. Oh, okay. He had the Nike shirts on in Cleveland. Okay, that's cute. I like that. Okay. It said the top 3 sales are Black players, Shedeur, Travis, and Cam Ward. Really? Okay, interesting. And they don't even talk about Cam Ward. Lord have mercy. That's the most hidden first round QB I've ever seen. It said, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. $20 million is what Peter was talking about. It says Shamar Stewart is going back to A&M, I heard. I would too. And his money's guaranteed. All we got to do is go to class. He probably can't have, I think they said they have a morality clause. I could deal with a morality clause, right? But I can't even express myself. It said 10 million or more. Okay. It said he's getting some type of waiver. Who are you talking about, Amber? Shamar Stewart? I don't think he's the only one. I think if you can go back to college, go back to college. It said players typically receive 67% of jersey sales. 67%? What's 67% of 250 million? I don't know if it's that much. It said Money Man has a song named Prime Equity. It's fire. Okay. Well, maybe he can get his concept out there in the NFL to listen. It said best believe that second contract will have all of that. You see how Prime posts his stats every now and then. Sales, student, grads, etc. This is negotiation tactics. Yeah. The Egyptian queen, it said, keep going strong, sis. We're almost there. Training camp, July 18th. I think it's the rookies. Then the vets come days afterwards. Yep, that's facts. It said, because everything that happened, we are now following several teams because of CU. Yep. And it's going to be the same next year. I mean, hell, by the time Coach Prime leave CU, as if he's scheduled to leave in 2029, you can only imagine how many teams are going to be followed. And then you can only imagine how many Buffs players are going to be on the same team. Right now, the team with the most players is Jacksonville, right? And people get traded, moved around. You just never know. It says Shedeur and Travis also still have that HBU support. Not all of that is just from CU. That's true. Nope, they do still have that. They do still have it. Yeah, I think we're going to always follow them. For sure. I think we're going to always follow them. I think the guy that came out before Shedeur, Alabama A&M, I know he got the HBCU support. I don't know his name, but he went to Baltimore with LaJohntay Wester. All right, shout out to who is that? Derek Freeman. Yay! I really love your show. You know what you're talking about, and I'm going to tell my friends about your show. Thank you. Share the video. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and I want to make sure that I leave something valuable with everybody. So thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate the support. I appreciate it. BJ Riggs, did you do the math on that 67% of jersey sales? Because that's a lot of money for Shedeur. Shedeur's second contract is going to be fired, and his second contract could happen before 4 years is up. Again, he could be put on waivers, just like the NFL joked about. But this time, instead of being put on waivers and passed around to another team for the same money, he could be put on waivers, clear it, and get his contract. That's what I hope happens. That's exactly what I hope happens. So Charlotte said, I'm sure Coach Prime have ideas about how to lay out prime equity as he has done it in Boulder in some ways. Millions through Boulder. Yeah, Boulder has made some money with Coach Prime. That's how you know that, they were going to pay him. It said, teach that Black history. What she said. Thank you, Crowley. Yeah, I mean, we got too much power. We have way too much power, right? We have way too much power not to exercise it because everybody else gonna do it. So why shouldn't you, right? I think the lesson, after learning about how they took Michael Vick signing bonus back and bankrupt his family, and then people wonder why they let him back in the league because they was wrong. They was wrong. I don't even know if they had this kind of language back then, but you see the language is there now. The question is, how long has it been there? Was the Michael Vick situation and them being criticized for that made them put the language in there? Now y'all know why they don't care if they get arrested. They don't care about the negativity because all they're doing is voiding their guarantees. That's a win-win for the NFL. I'm going to get you to pay and I'm going to get you to play for me and pay you less because you messed up. Charlotte said, amen. It said, NFL, you can't steer a ship that isn't moving. And furthermore, a ship doesn't sail on dry land. Right. And that's my thing. When they get to the point, like the NBA players, they stay in school. What did they say? This was the one class that the NBA had the lowest number of people registering for the draft. Because they're getting that money in school. It said Travis put out a video of him going to meet the AB crew. The target team was there to meet him. I hope he sees this and he's being used. Oh, man. Johnny Cochran would have had a field day with these clowns. Yep. Raekwon Smith is still playing for the Ravens. Okay, I wonder if he got his second contract yet. Because what they said, that was 2018. 2018. Just about. Yeah, he should have it. Okay, so he's still there. Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Tina. It said, can we get the likes up? Yes, can we please get the likes up? Thank you. Peter said the Ravens in 2022. Okay, thank y'all for that. Thank you, everybody. It said, damn, you can't die or retire without master's consent, right? You better have a damn will. That's all I know. Imagine you in the NFL. Has there been an NFL player who passed away recently that was still active? I'm trying to think. You don't even want to do that. That means you don't even get what was supposed to be coming to you. It's like it just stops. You gonna get your last paycheck. That's it. That's crazy. That's just no compassion for the dead, the families, or nothing. That's just nuts. Yep. What the hell, Peter? That's why I was like, what the hell? That's crazy. It said, I read that when you enter the draft, you are subject to conduct and other rules, even if you don't sign a contract. Yeah, I'm gonna need to look into that. I'm gonna have to do an episode called "What the Hell on these players working for free, because I need to understand why that's permissible. Most organizations and corporations are subject to the federal workplace rules and regulations and must be in compliance. So it must be something on paper. It must be something on paper. It said the language is so convoluted, it's hard to make a choice. I know one thing. These guys were in the league at one time. They couldn't even celebrate. You know, that had to be in there. You know, they had to have that in there. It's crazy. Like, why is it so restrictive? If the league were majority white, would it be this restrictive? I don't think so. Because look at hockey, right? Is hockey going to change? They just drafted, what, 3 or 10 black players for the first time. Let's see if their rules change when it comes to fighting. If, you know, they're like, well, we don't want them fighting. I mean, honestly, you have to wonder if that's going to change. It said they should not, because, we talking about Quinshon Junkins. BJ said they should not, because he is not under contract. If they allow it, it's going to open them up to looking at any player's past behavior and impact of future contract. Yeah, that's what the avoiding of future guarantees is about. So yeah. So I don't think it should apply. He hadn't signed his contract yet. How you gonna hold me accountable? You interviewing me. You don't have to hire me if you don't want to, but I don't think you should hire me and lowball me because of what happened, right? It said Johnny Cochran was a criminal defense attorney. I think a sports attorney would have represented an athlete. Oh, okay. I'm just here so my guarantees won't get voided. That's what you're going to have to say. That's what you're going to have to say. And I read an article that said, and now it makes sense, the NFL Players Association could not get the owners to agree to limit and restrict or prohibit reporters from coming into the locker rooms where the guys are getting dressed. Now you know why they can't. Did they really go to the bat for it, or did they go to the owners? Well, I mean, we just gonna sit here for 30 minutes, 30 days and let them think we talk to the owners. Remember, they have a management council to talk to. So that's likely who they were talking to, and they didn't get nowhere. It's just not making no sense. I could see if the money was guaranteed. I'm staying in school otherwise, because this is crazy. All I got to do is go to class, play 12 games, maybe get to the natty. What's that, 12, a bowl game? Okay, I would have to play 12 games. A bowl game is 13. The Big 12 championship, no, that's 13. The Big 12, wait. How many is it? 12 games plus the bowl game is 13, right? Then we have 14, the Big 12 championship, right? Then we have the playoffs. That's 14. I don't know why I'm getting these numbers wrong. And then we got 15. So 15 games. The NFL wants to add another game. I think they want them to play 18 games. Do they already play 18 games? And see, they want so much. They want the players to sacrifice their bodies. They won't give them no guarantees. If they have a guarantee, it can be taken away. It can go back to the beginning, even if you earned it, if you didn't in the future, which makes me wonder, why did they mistreat Russell Wilson at all? If you had the right to not pay him the guarantees, were you antagonizing him on the field and hoping that he raised the hand to Sean Payton so you could void those guarantees? Manipulation. I think we're going to see it this season. Let's see. One can re-enter the draft pool. Right. Hopefully they go figure out something else to do. Hopefully they go figure out something else to do. This was worse than the damn Navy contract I signed. Oh Lord, I can't imagine what that looked like. But that's the government. I get it. I get it. It said, I don't think the public respects the Browns leadership, right? Because the fans can't sway them no kind of way. It said they have a franchise tag. The NFL says, do what I say and not what I do. Double standard, right? Because how are they going to allow the Browns owner to throw Deshaun Watson under the bus publicly, but Deshaun can say nothing? That's so one-sided. Their contracts are one-sided. Yeah, now y'all know why they don't care if they get in trouble. That's why. That's how they got Michael Vick. Sure did. Bankrupt his family. And then when he gets out, they let him come back and make some more money. But they suspended him indefinitely. They thought they was done with him. But they caught so much negativity behind taking back his signing bonus that now it's language. So, yep, BJ, that's how they got Michael Vick. There are different types of law. Oh, okay, they're talking about the law. I wonder how the NFL will react if the players start to hold out on signing contracts until language that counters the league's stipulations can be added to protect the player's interests. I mean, that's what they're doing right now. Gracie, that's what they're doing right now. They holding out. You have the rookies. The only people that can hold out are the rookies. Now, I don't know what a veteran contract look like, but 32 rookies are holding out. One in the first round, one in the fourth, and 30 in the second. This language matters. This language matters because you're going to find yourself falling into a trap. See, if it were me and I had to submit to some type of language, because that's what that is, submission. If I had to submit to that type of language, every person that come my way that I didn't send for, I would be looking at you. Who are you? Who sent you? You see how they fast and loose with some of these people they connect themselves to? You can't even afford to do that because you can get set up. You could get set up. That's crazy. I'd be like, I'm good. No new friends. No new friends. No new friends. Because what the hell? I'm like, no, I wouldn't trust nobody. I'd be at the mall shopping and somebody come on, get out of my face. Get out of my face because you probably going to do something. So now y'all know why they were making such a big deal out of those tickets that Shedeur had. But I don't even know if he got no guarantees because he was a 5th round draft pick. I don't even know if he had none anyway. So yeah, Gracie, that's what they're doing right now. They have to, I think by Friday, I think everybody will be back at camp. The rookies anyway. So you would think by Friday at 5 o'clock, they got this worked out. I can't wait to find out. Did somebody look and see if Shedeur Stewart is truly going back to Texas A&M? I want to see how many more people do that. Peter said, hell no. Yep. Why y'all saying hell no? Hell no. Bullwinkle. It said Travis' situation is crazy because the brother-in-law can be an op to set him up. Yep. Anybody could. It said hell to the now. Y'all talking about the contract language. I would stay in school. Fact. I'm like, Lenore Sellers' daddy should have took that $8 million. I'm like, I might not need it because I got 3, but I can put the 5 with the 3 and have 8. Because when you come to this, I had never seen this language. To see this language, this is how you make an informed decision. Or you see Manny not in a hurry to come out of school. Why would you be? If he don't even want to come out of school right away, why would you rush to get out of school? I would definitely stay in school. Gracie to the hell to the now. I would definitely stay in school. I'm like, I ain't coming out. And by the time I do, I'm gonna be trying to figure out how to flip what you gave me. I'm like, because some people have aspirations of starting their own business, but that's why Jalen Hurts said it himself, because you just never know. Look at how his coach tried him, right? And that came and went too. But let him do that. I think it was a player for the Texans who walked up on his coach, and they were talking about that. And that was after the Russell Wilson, the disrespect by Sean Payton, and they said nothing. Now you know why they be harping on certain situations. They're not going to say anything about the coaches doing it. The media knows what these contracts look like. Hell, if I could see it online, they definitely already knew. I would stay in school. Yep. Can we get the likes up? Yes. Just take a minute. Look at the like button and hit the like button for me. I would stay in school and skip the NFL. I just would really be happy. I just would really be happy when these guys unbrainwash themselves. And it's going to take maybe a decade of NIL for them to realize, I don't want to go to the league. I'm good. I mean, if I'm going to only be there for 2 years and my contract not guaranteed and I can't breathe and speak and say nothing, then, I'm good. I think the only people would be the first rounders because of the money that they make, but it's not guaranteed and they can always come back for it. That's the part that gets me. Even if you earned it, I'm like, oh, hell no. And you see how people have to get a lawyer to go negotiate. Well, if I get suspended 3 games or 4 games, then my guarantees are void. That means that's them taking the contract on a case-by-case basis. That's why they had no shame in working on Travis's contract, because he pushed the issue. The guy that we were talking about here that played for Chicago, He pushed the issue. He's still in the league, y'all said. But look at all the first rounders who didn't sign it. And y'all say Shamar Stewart, who would be the only first rounder left, might be going back to A&M. That's change. That's what change looks like. That's a message to when he gets to A&M and all these other players see this. Do you have any more eligibility left? You might want to use it. It said, I'm a professional student. Gracie say, I'm a professional student. You know my answer. Facts, cuz, man, I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. It said, we just have to give Travis's situation to the Lord. Yeah, we ain't even worry about that. We ain't even worry about that. Oh, here we are right here. Somebody put up some numbers. BJ said 167.5 million. Oh, is that the percentage you were talking about? Shedeur getting 2/3 or something like that? Yeah, he didn't get that. He didn't get that. He did not get that. I don't even know if he really got the 12 to 15 million. What's 1%? He might get 1%. I don't know. The way these contracts are structured, I doubt they do anything that helpful. Unless that's just the most jerseys they sold ever and they weren't expecting it. But because if he got that kind of money, I see why he's still in the league. Hell, I'd stay too. And then he going to have year 2 and 3. Let them change that number or a team. It's going to go run right back up. It's going to run right back up. So hit the like button for me, everybody. Thank you. It says, what the hell? Yep. Stop going into the NFL. Yep. What the hell, yo? Stop. Don't be surprised if I hold up a mug or a cup and it say, what the hell? So I need Draylon Miller family to go ahead on and trademark that, because I'm probably going to use it. I'm just going to go ahead on. I always have a cup right here, a mug, a t-shirt, a hat, or something. I can easily put what the hell on it. What she says sports, what the hell, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It already happened in 2026. 2006 to Ezekiel Elliott, no contract, and he was only accused. Ooh, okay. That's insane. That's crazy. The NFL does what it wants. That's it, K. Hayes. And they play 17 games. So I heard the NFL want to play 18 games. So they want to go up 18 games, but they don't want to loosen up the restrictions. They want to issue guarantees selectively. They want to work these contracts out selectively. So if you haven't worked your contract out by end of business on Friday, what happens? Are you going to get the practice and a bunch of UFL players have taken your roster spot? Rules will change in hockey too, only if the black players start to dominate. Yep. You don't think it's criminal taking $43 million out of? Hell yeah, I think it's criminal. Why y'all think I'm out here stomping for Shedeur? It's criminal. It's fraud. That's what it is. I already called it fraudulent. Now that people are starting to say more and more that Shedeur was never an option for Cleveland, I'm like, well, that's a lie. It is documented. They pre-draft for him extensively, and somebody knows something. So this situation is going to get resolved maybe in year 2. And I think the solution is they put him on waivers. They know they're going to let him clear waivers instead of re-signing him or sending him to another team with the same poultry contract. They're going to fix his contract. That's why they don't want Shedeur hanging out with Deshaun Watson. But they crazy if they don't think Coach Prime is smart enough to use leverage to get Shedeur's contract fixed. If he helped Travis get his contract signed by merely going fishing and saying you could come back to see you, and he helped Deshaun Jackson somehow get a $20 million bond in for Delaware State after a viral fishing trip, Deshaun just gonna add on to what Coach Prime has said. So I told y'all, I would be shocked if they left Shedeur in Cleveland past the first game, regular season game. Because they know y'all going to be all over them. Let him play. He sold all these jerseys. He the best one. Y'all going to lose. They don't want to hear that. You see how these contracts are one-sided. They want to do what they want to do. Who just said that? K. Hayes? Yes. It said the NFL owners remind me of the Two Brothers in the Trading Places movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Go. And what happened at the end of that movie? Who was outside and homeless or something like that? It said, yep, over the plantation, making fun of the slave. Yep, that's all it is. It's the same. It's plantation fantasies. That's all it is. People want to say it's business. No, it's not, because they have a system of duality in place. Now, this whole conversation, what the hell has actually reading the language in these contracts. Now it have filled in some gaps. Now you know why they don't care if the people they deem bodies, that who they say have lower cognitive functioning. That's why they don't care if they get in trouble. Sure, I'm gonna take you back because your guarantee isn't void. Come on in. That's why. There will be no more kneeling on the sidelines. There will be no walking out. There will be no, I'm upset, I'm staying in the locker room. There will be no running past the reporters. There will be no negativity towards the reporters. There will be no negativity on your own social media. So get you a burner in somebody else's name. That's what you're going to have to do. And don't tell nobody, because if you tell somebody going to tell on you. You can't let people have nothing on you when you in this league. Deshaun Watson, not Deshaun Watson, and that tells you right there. That tells you right there. For Deshaun Watson to have a fully guaranteed contract after 24 cases of settling 24 cases, but no criminal charges, and he got every dime back. Does that not tell you that something untoward happened to provoke that? Do you see the language in these contracts? And he don't have none of it. Then they had to quietly go in 2024 and put some language in place about if he did it again. He didn't have that at first. I wonder why. Maybe they knew it wasn't going to happen no more, because did it ever really happen? Was he the only one? No, he was not. And they don't want to talk about who else was. Dallas talks down to their players during contract renewal. Did Michael Parsons get his contract yet? All sorts of rumors start leaking. Because they trying to devalue you. Right. Did Michael Parsons get his contract? Does anybody know? Hit the like button for me, please. Oh, we are less than, how many people we away? 100 and just a little over, like 102 people away from 4,000. I'm ready to celebrate. If you're just watching, hanging out, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe. So I think I'm about 102 subscribers away from 4,000. 4,000. All right, get me there. It says circulate Shedeur's event because the nasty shade around Shedeur at the ESPYs by Shane Gillis. I didn't even know the ESPYs happened. Is gaining traction. Who is Shane Gillis? Let me know. It says K Hayes says the media. Yep, the media works for the NFL. Yep, we have already determined that. That's aiding and abetting. Absolutely. Tina is talking to Salafi. Okay, all right. K Hayes said, but I read something that said the Bengals could still possibly own his negotiations when he returns to the NFL. Oh, you're talking about Shamar Stewart. So it's possible. Can you do me a favor, K Hayes? Can you email me the link to the story? Can somebody email me the link to the story to what she said 404 about Shamar Stewart going back to Texas A&M? Is this a hypothetical? This is what would happen if, or is this a possibility if they don't work this contract out by end of business on Friday? Let me know. Remember, this is the first time this many people have held out, this many rookies. I don't know if the 250 million is true. I couldn't find it online. I wonder where it came from. I think I did see it online. It just said the breakdown is not public. The breakdown of how much, the percentage is not public. So the person that reported 12 to 15, I'm not sure where they got that from. Charlotte said Trading Places is a classic. One of my favorite movies. K Hayes said not yet. Okay, y'all. So we just got to the end of the comment section. This was excellent. finally got my hands on the language that I have been wanting to get as to why in the hell, what the helly, why were these players holding out? Now we know. And now because we're getting closer to the deadline, which could be Friday, could be Saturday, could be the following Monday, following business day, because that's how you conduct business. What's the date on that? Let me see the date. They report on Friday. So you would think that the NFL would have these contracts together by the 18th at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is in the business. So they probably could go to Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and give people over the weekend time to feel scared or something. This is the first time this has happened, so I will be staying on this story. Because what the hell, right? You would think the NFL would get the message that you can't be treating people like this. But until these guys start staying in school and finding something else to do, until they stop believing, until they unbrainwash themselves and retrain their brain to understand I can make this money in college and move on to another line of business, the NFL is not the end all to be all. Until then, the NFL gonna have the leverage. All right, y'all. So we out of here. This was awesome. This was awesome. This was awesome. Joyce, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Thank you so much again. Freeman, thank you so much, Derek Freeman, for supporting the channel. Y'all can hit my Cash App in the bio, in the chat, anywhere. And it just helps to keep growing this channel because we want to get to the next level. We're almost at 4,000 subs. So if you're just not joining us, hit the like button, of course. Share the video, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. Let's see how many subs we have. We are at 3889. So we're not that far off from 4,000. It goes up, it goes down, and that's fine. Find your tribe, right? We have multiple live streams. We put out videos, we put out shorts. Different people gonna like different content. So just find your tribe at What She Said Sports. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. And for members, don't forget, member live stream Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.